our own way with class planning. Like we started off like everybody does, really structured and following a formula from what we learnt from teacher training and then our mentors. But then what I love about how our relationship has grown is that we've really found our own individual ways and we keep doing it. I think most people, when they get into their 4th, 5th year of teaching, they just kind of throw class planning off to the side and oh yeah, I know enough exercises now so I can teach off cuff, and that's fine. That's great when like you're having a week where you're feeling sick or you know, you just need go-tos. But I really think when you reach that level, there's this other opportunity of like real enjoyment and fulfillment, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not really getting in there and making it your own. Do you want to chat about what your approach is now?
Yeah, I think, so the first thing I'd say is that I actually feel the opposite when I'm sick or when I'm tired. If I don't have a little bit of a where am I headed, I feel even more disorientated.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like I've got to have like, even just, you know, I've got these solid plans. So like 3 fallbacks, solid plans.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like, you know, maybe people can do that off the cuff, and I'm sure I can as well, but I'll always jump back to one of those 3 just solid plans.
Yeah.
So I'm never really teaching off the cuff.
Yeah.
But I'm teaching something that I've taught before a million times.
Tested, experimented.
So I'd never teach kind of just off the cuffs when I'm sick or just feeling kind of unwell or not up to scratch, because that's when, for me, things start to go really pear-shaped. Yeah. So, and I guess that kind of leads into, I like to plan. I like to plan my classes.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting take, just that difference with us, because you're a really detailed person and I am so big picture creative, like, that'll be fun, and you're like, no, we need to do this. And that's why it works so well. So it's good to give those 2 perspectives, because the last thing, like when I'm feeling tired and sick or I just want to have a cruisy period, I'm like, I'll be fine. Like that makes me anxious. So anxious. I'm good.
I'm like, no, what do I do?
But go on.
But it's, I guess for me, it's probably the way that I really like to explore movement and look for threads and look for progressions, and it comes from kind of me having learn those progressions to get to the more advanced exercise and to kind of challenge myself to go to that next little bit, and then seeing how I can then implement that for my students. So I can kind of say, well, you know, this is tendon stretch that we'll eventually get to, but I don't really say at the beginning of the class, that's what we're going to do and that's where we're headed. I like to just kind of plan it so that there's a few little bits and pieces here and there that we're going to pull on later. So the different actions that I'm going to be needing to get them into that exercise, just setting them up for success.
And so that's it, because I think some people don't know what having a solid thread through a class means. Is that what you mean?
So I like to teach, so there's a thread. It doesn't have to be, I mean, sometimes it's really obvious, and then other times it kind of sneaks up on them. So, like today, you know, teaching...
like today, snuck up on me.
So today, you know, teaching things as simple as footwork, well, let's find external rotation. And then later on, you know, doing some side splits and teaching that same kind of action of the hip. And then coming up, standing, doing side splits and squats. So when you're coming down into a squat, it's like your footwork. That same idea of external rotation. So that's, to me, that's kind of like planting a seed. And then when you get to the harder version, so laying down footwork versus standing up and doing a squat on the reformer bed, you've got that action to call on. So like I said, when you were doing your footwork, turn your knees out, overdo the toes, get deeper into your squat.
Because that's what we're doing in the same position right at the start.
Exactly. So it's almost a reference point for them to be like, I've done this. Like, 10 minutes ago, I can do this here.
But you have to tell them. I think that's important too. It's you have to make them aware. Hey, do you remember how we were in exactly the same shape before, but we were laying on our back? Or hey, we were in the same cat stretch shape that we did at the start of the class. Think about that.
Yeah.
And when you start integrating that into your classes and your class plans, I think your classes have this beautiful slow build, which I think you are just becoming known for. Like I said to you before, I was like, oh, Jacqui's starting his class with footwork. That's really unusual. And then we got to abs. I'm like, I hate you. I know where this is going now. You get it right when you start to build a following. And that's what I was first spoken about. Like, I used to stress over class numbers so much. I felt so much pressure, especially when I came back to teaching and I just, the studio that I was teaching in had changed so much and the staff had changed, and I just kind of felt really isolated and like, what the hell am I doing here? What's the go? So then I just kept going back to these numbers. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. That's not good enough. What am I doing wrong? And I really considered quitting, like honestly considered it, until I kind of realized, okay, well, that one person, she comes to my classes all the time. Like, she is really loyal to me and she could go to anybody's class, but she always comes to mine. What is it about her? Why does she like me, first of all? And what is it about her that I can see in other people? And then I kind of started figuring out when a new client would come in, I'd be able to figure out if they were my person or not.
Definitely.
Like, are they going to fit into my tribe that is already here? Yeah. And I just kind of speak their language and it felt so easy. And I could really tell when a person would come in that just was not, they're not going to enjoy my style and I'm not going to get the best out of them. I'd be like, so there's other classes you should go to. Maybe Jacqui would be great for you, or maybe they would be great for you.
And I think recognizing that and knowing that every student is not going to like every instructor and vice versa. And I think that's the other thing that comes with time and practice and just growth as an instructor. It should take.
I can't remember the first time I met you.
Oh, actually, I came and did your class.
I remember you coming to my mat class.
Yeah, that was the first mat class I did there.
Salmon.
And you know what? To this day I teach that. And I taught it last night and everyone's like, whoa! And I was like, it's the salmon! It's the salmon! And I'm always like, oh, Sarah and the salmon. Such a good exercise. And then I do the salmon sit like you did.
Was that your first? I taught that the other day as well. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. Well, that ties in with what we love discussing about movement ancestry. So, like, ever since we kind of developed our relationship in the Pilates form, yes, we've been stealing exercises off each other, but not just stealing them. Like, we've had these long conversations where we discuss stuff in detail, and it seems so boring to other people, and then it just becomes something new, and both of us kind of make it our own. Yeah, which I think is really nice. And then you take that into your practice and take it into your teaching, and then maybe somebody else comes to your class and then takes that, and then they go do it somewhere else, and it's this beautiful kind of lineage. Yeah, and also I guess it was really interesting how we kind of go our separate ways and do our own little exploration into what we love, and then kind of come back together and we'd almost consolidate it and compare notes without really that being a plan or a framework. We just kind of meet up, and that's what would naturally happen. And it'd kind of be like, oh, I taught this the other day and it worked out really well, or I taught this the other day and it didn't really work out very well. But I saw that person do it and it should have worked, and we would just hash things out. And I think that was really cool to bounce off each other, and that's when we started to build more rapport and more trust and kind of show up more authentically in our chats together and in our self-practice and our partner practice. Yeah, definitely. So then we layers off, I'm really tired today. Yeah, I'm really exhausted. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll do some restorative stuff. Or, oh, can I try and put you in the stretch you know, that I'm learning looks really nice, and a lot of the time I'd be like, yes.
Be like a testing ground, I think, where there was no judgment, which I think is really important, because that's what a testing ground should be.
Yeah, and I get so many instructors